And this question is for Butch. I actually stopped by your church right before I came here, and I heard that you were still attending your church services from space.
Right.
Can you tell me a bit about why that was important for you to do?
Well, goodness, the Word of God can continually infilling me. I need it. My pastors are the finest pastors on or off, in this case, the planet. And to tie in and to worship with my church family was vital. I mean, it's part of what makes me go. And not only that, I also tied into Grace Baptist Church in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. A buddy of mine is an elder there and a pastor there, and I would watch their service as well every single week. And it was invigorating. It was part of what I need as a believer in Jesus Christ to continue that focus. It assisted me day in and day out because I need that fellowship, even though it's fellowship from afar. And it's not like being fellowship up close, but still I need it. So yeah, thank you for that.
And we are live. Welcome to the Impact Money Show. I thought I'd share that. You know, that it really is something else. Those guys stranded up there in space for so long. You know, that is really something else. So I thought that was worth sharing. Welcome to the Impact Money Show. Good morning, money movers and shakers. Broadcasting live from Washington, D.C., where the financial world's on fire, and we're here to make sense of it all. Let's kick off with the weather here in the nation's capital. It's 57 degrees Fahrenheit out there, a balmy spring vibe with 0% precipitation, 91% humidity, and 12 miles per hour wind whipping through the cherry blossoms. Perfect day to hunker down and talk cash, cryptos, and chaos because, folks, we've got it a lot to unpack today. Before we dive into the madness, we've got some electrifying news for our community. We partnered with the Bitcoin 2025, the biggest crypto bash of the year, happening May 27th through 29th in Las Vegas. We're thrilled to bring you a special deal. Use the discount code IMPACTMONEY, all one word, for 10% off your tickets. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. It's where the future of money gets forged. And hold on to your hats because we're super excited for Bitcoin Palooza Las Vegas on the evening of May 27th. After nearly 1,200 of you registered for our New York City event, we're expecting an even bigger turnout in Las Vegas. Art, fashion, music, and crypto colliding in one epic night. Mark your calendars, grab your discounted tickets, and let's make it a party. Now, let's get down to business. The world's financial markets are in a tailspin, and it's all thanks to one man's big idea, Donald Trump's Liberation Day tariff bombshell. But before we dissect that, let's hit the latest headlines rocking the globe as of 6:22 this morning, April 3rd. Buckle up. This is wild. First, a weather crisis is slamming the central U.S. Forecasters are calling it a generational flooding event. Catastrophic floods, tornadoes, heavy snow, and high winds. 1 dead, 10 injured, and the lower Ohio Valley and Mid-South are taking the brunt. Second, Trump's tariff plan, 10% on all imports, starting, that's the baseline, April 5th, with 54% on China by April 9th, has markets reeling and China fuming. Third, a Wisconsin Supreme Court upset. Liberal Susan Crawford beat the Trump and Musk-backed conservative on April 2nd, despite $21 million in spending. Of course, there's cries of cheating and this and that, and how in the world did the voter ID pass and she just get in? Who knows, guys? We got to get off the machines. Look, I work on machines all the time. You guys use AI and stuff. You know, you got to, sometimes you don't get what you're supposed to get. Like, you got to get off the machines, folks. Get off the magic electronic voting machines, right? Pure and simple. Get off the magic electronic voting machines. Fourth, Amazon's jumped into the TikTok US sale. With the deadline looming on Saturday, and fifth, Republicans dropped a budget with $1.5 trillion in tax cuts and a $5 trillion debt hike. I had to read that a couple times this morning. I mean, what are these people thinking? They just keep, it's like if I had like my own crypto or my own coin or something, and then just as people started trying to spend it, I just kept making more of the coins. I just kept minting more. That's what we have. This like out of control situation that we have with the US dollar. It's unbelievable to me. It's unbelievable to me. Absolutely unbelievable. So $5 trillion debt hike means they're going to print money like drunk sailors. And then they like tell us it's fine. It's not fine, folks. It's not fine. House GOP's crying foul. What's your news snapshot? Back to the chaos. Now let's zoom in on Trump because he's the match that's lighting the fire currently. As of 6:25 a.m., his tariffs rollout is the talk of the town. Believe me, Dow futures tanked over 1,000 points overnight. Asian stocks are bleeding. The Nikkei is down 2.77%, and the dollar is crashing on the DXY. It's at 102.07, off 1.68%. Trump's calling it a win for the American workers, but economists are screaming inflation. Think grocery bills and car prices spiking. And yeah, I get it. I see my friends on X. A little bit of pain now for winning later. I hope you're right. I hope I don't go to Costco and my $300, $400 bill is $800 or $900. I don't know, guys. I have no idea. I mean, we're in uncharted territory here. Maybe it would have been better to get our money creation out of the Federal Reserve first, but maybe we couldn't do that. Maybe this is the route that had to go. Either way, I think Trump's doing it for the right reasons. I just hope that the average American isn't going to go and have their grocery bills doubled, because we've already basically experienced that over the last few years. Clothes for school. I mean, a 54% tariff on China. I mean, where most of the clothes come from China. And I get it. Yeah, now we're going to buy American. But I mean, if you're one of these people that's, on some type of a budget and you need to buy, clothes for the kids, and you have to spend, $250 instead of $125. I don't know. Think grocery bills and car prices spiking. The Senate tried to block Canada's tariffs. They did their part of it, I guess, 51-48, but the House is likely to squash it. GOP fractures are showing. Musk and Trump lost big in Wisconsin with that Senate seat, and the TikTok sale twists ties back to his admin's push. Excuse me. The tariff train is full speed ahead. Expect markets to stay jittery. Speaking of Musk, what's the latest with our tech titan? As of this morning, rumors swirl he might ditch his Doge gig by May, which is the expected amount of time. Trump's praising his $1 trillion deficit cuts, but some call him a liability. Now, I will say, as I was putting together my opening monologue for the show, I did then see a report that Musk reposted and said it was true, saying that both him and Trump were saying that he was going to leave when he was done. Now, the reports that I saw earlier in the week were that he said that he thought that his work would be done at the end of May, which is the end of his temporary government employment term. So I don't know if there's some mincing words there. I'm really just not sure. Tesla's Q1 deliveries crashed 13% to 337,000, worst ever, blamed on competition and Musk's Trump ties. Though energy storage soared 156%, he lost $25 million in the Wisconsin court race. I mean, that's like 50 cents, 10 cents to most of us. And tariffs sting Tesla's imported parts. Musk tweeting fake news to calm the storm, but Tesla shares are up slightly. Investors are betting on a pivot? Probably. Over on Capitol Hill, the U.S. House is a circus. Trump's tariffs don't need their nod, but Rep. Jason Smith's cheering while others balk. A proxy voting revolt Tuesday tanked Speaker Mike Johnson's agenda. 9 GOPers joined the Dems to kill the rule. stalling Trump's SAVE Act and judge curbs. 2 Florida wins Tuesday barely hold their slim majority in the House, and the Senate budget clash looms. House hardliners hate the $5 trillion debt hike. I mean, who doesn't, right? Oh, and the Dems are probing RFK Jr.'s bird flu mess. Chaos reigns. I will say that my daughter was on a run yesterday, and she said that there was a dead bird right there. And I thought to myself, well, that is interesting, isn't it? Because that when you usually see dead birds, that is an indicator, whether it's some type of sickness or something like that. You just don't normally see the dead birds, full grown like that. Usually something's wrong. The Senate's no calmer. They slapped Trump's Canada tariffs down late Wednesday, 51-48, with 4 GOP rebels, but it's dead on arrival in the House. Their $1 trillion tax budget's racing forward to Friday's vote. That's their tax cut budget. So the House GOP is ready to brawl. Cory Booker, 25-hour rant, anti-Trump rant speech Tuesday broke records, gumming up works, and Meta's China probes simmering. Tariffs and taxes are the Senate's battleground. Now, I've seen a lot of people say, oh, Cory Booker and this guy, and what did he achieve, anything else? I'll tell you what, guys, who wouldn't want that guy on your team? Okay? That's was my takeaway on Cory Booker. I want that guy on my team. I wish that we had somebody fighting for us like that, against raising the debt ceiling, against printing money out of thin air, against these ridiculous laws that they're allowing to pass that make it impossible, illegal for me to criticize certain countries in the Middle East. What is this country? We're supposed to have free speech in this country. I wish we had somebody fighting like that. That's what I'll say for Cory Booker. I'm frozen. Am I frozen? Shoot. I'm back. Okay, sorry, I froze there for a minute. I guess they didn't like what I was saying. Across the pond, Putin's making moves. He's drafting 160,000 men since April 1st, biggest since 2011, amid Ukraine war stalls. Trump's tariff threats, 20 to 50% on Russian oil buyers, aim to force a ceasefire, but Putin's rejecting terms, cozying up to China's Wang Yi on April 1st. His envoys in D.C. today, but no dice yet. We are grinding on. The Ukraine war is heating up too. The draft's got Kiev worried, and spring push looms. Ukraine's hitting Belgorod with drones and troops, while Russia's bombing the Kharkiv hospitals. War crimes, says Zelensky. Trump's ceasefire leveraging via tariffs isn't budging Putin. He doesn't care about all that stuff. He really doesn't. I'm telling you, he doesn't care. And Senate's pushing sanctions. Oil's at stake here. More on that soon. Now a grim turn. Allegations of genocide and ethnic cleansing in Gaza. Israel's Katz announced April 2nd a massive Gaza offensive, seizing land, displacing masses, killing 21 that day alone. I saw a picture yesterday. It was very upsetting. It took me a minute to figure out what it was, and I realized I was looking at a baby with its head blown off. Am I freezing? I'm freezing. Shoot. All right, I'm back. I keep freezing. I'm not sure why I keep freezing. Hopefully it's not on your end. Well, I do know why. I normally don't have my computer plugged in, but for some reason it didn't charge last night. So anyway, where was I? 21 killed since March. A bunch dead. 61,000 per the Palestinians, of course. Aid workers executed. West Bank camps emptied, 40,000. I mean, actually millions displaced. The UN's calling it genocidal, and Trump's tariff threats on Russia ties in indirectly. Middle East tensions spiking markets. The markets are a mess. The DXY is crashing. As I mentioned, it is just pushing down pretty hard. Trump's tariff flipped the dollar from a safe haven to a punching bag. The yen is surging. It's 146.59 as I put this together. Bonds are up. 10-year yields at 4.4%. 0.14%. Expect 101.80 on the DXY or a shaky bounce to 103.68 by Friday. Retaliation is the X factor. Gold's at 3,147, off about 0.5%. Silver's at 33.08, down about 4.3. That's not right. But silver's down a little bit. Gold's a hedge, and silver's industrials uses keep it as a hedge as well. The Fed's quiet today, but tomorrow the jobs report comes out. The BLS jobs report could rock everything. Weak numbers mean recession vibes. I don't know how we really skip recession at this point, to be totally honest. Strong numbers could steady the ship. Tariffs complicate the Fed's May rate calls. Watch this space. Futures are a bloodbath. And the Asian markets are all red across the board. I mean, it's a bloodbath. Nikkei's down about 3%. Oil's down 4% as well. 68.82. Everybody's just up in arms. Really, it's a bloodbath, and it was likely to continue today. And some friends call me. They're like, Bruce, I went all in long. Look, I sincerely hope that it works out for you. I don't know if it's going to, but I sincerely hope it does. Bitcoin is at, let's see, we're tanking here again. Bitcoin's at 83,275. Solana is at 116.35. Go into that $100 range that Matt Dixon has been predicting, looks like. Jobs could push Bitcoin back to 85 or down to in the 70s. We'll see. Finally, the AI and robotics and cancer and longevity are moving. It's a pretty interesting space. I've been watching this quite a bit. AI is buzzing. NVIDIA Rubin's chips, Google's Gemini robotics, ER automation, tariff shields. Cancer's got AI at 99.26 accuracy. They say we're gonna fix the cancer, but NIH cuts, they say, are stalling everything. We'll have to see. That's your opener, folks. I have the great Matt Dixon here for the Market Watch report. Sir Matt.
Yeah, morning, Bruce. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's been an exciting day on the markets. We'll start with the most important one of all, Fartcoin. So
how's Fartcoin doing?
Yeah, it misfired clearly, because just look what happened. We said yesterday that we had hidden bearish divergence going to push the price down. Precisely what's happened. So once again, these divergent signals are extremely accurate, and so it has pushed the price down dramatically. I mean, from a recent peak of 57, we're now on 38. That's in percentage terms. What's that? 40%, somewhere around there. Big downturn just based on that divergent signal, but that's just interesting to see, even on a new token like that. That's obviously very speculative. But even when we look at the big tokens, well, before we look at the tokens, I think it's good to look at what you've been talking about is DXY. It's actually had, let me put it onto a daily so we can really see where we're at. It's actually had, I checked back, the biggest fall so far in over a year for the US dollar on the DXY. So far, we don't know how it's going to finish the day, but so far that's the biggest fall that there's been in over a year in a single day. So it has been quite a dramatic fall, and obviously that's to do with tensions in the Middle East, but also to do with tariffs. There's a lot of negatives going on at the moment. Bitcoin, of course, topped out at 88, about 88.5 yesterday. It's currently 83.2, so that's fallen, what's that, 6% or something. So that's the safe haven store of value token of them all, and it's fallen 6% in a day. If we have a look, I'll just go back to the 4 hour here just to try and...
You're not sharing your screen yet, so I just wanted to, if you're...
Oh, thank you for reminding me, because I've been talking as though I'm sharing my screen.
Well, it was still interesting, so I thought, well, maybe he'll pop the screen up in a minute, but then I realized you probably meant to share.
Yeah, I just forgot. so excited about the what's going on in the market.
I got my powder ready for $100 Solana.
Yeah. So we'll just jump back. I don't know whether to jump back or not. I was looking at DXY, showed that the biggest fall in over a year. I flipped over here to the dollar, US dollar. We can see the big fall there from 88,500 to currently 6% lower. It went even lower than that, but that's quite a sharp move down. It went actually quite in line with our expectation. We were saying yesterday that we've had a wave one down. That completed wave one. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Labeled slightly differently, but it's still a larger wave one. In fact, the wave one is here, I think. That's the clear 5 waves. No overlaps. All the rules obeyed. Third wave is the biggest, most powerful wave. Everything as expected. Then we got an ABC higher. And remember, wave 2 isn't allowed to exceed the peak of the start of wave 1, and it didn't by a fraction. And wave 2 is often, I've said this many times, wave 2 is often retraces very, very deeply. And we had this retracement expected to go higher. It went even a bit higher than we expected, but it still didn't cross over the beginning of point 1. So it's still perfectly valid. Wave B is actually just thinking of the personality of the different waves. I've said about wave 3 being the most aggressive. We do often find that wave Bs often turn out to be spikes like this in the pricing. So it tested sharply lower very, very quickly and then reversed very quickly to the upside. So we had an ABC higher, but then if this is a wave 1, if this is an ABC wave 2, so that wave 2 is now, doesn't matter where that goes. Wave 2, let me just move that. Wave 2 is clearly here now, completed. It can't go any higher because if it does, this wave count would be invalidated. We cannot cross over the beginning of wave 1. I'll just show you exactly where that went up to. So we didn't quite get there. So it's perfectly valid. So wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 is going to be the most aggressive for downside. So I think we're about to enter aggressive downside territory for risk assets. This is Bitcoin, of course, the safe haven. But I think we're about to enter aggressive downward movement. We've already had it in wave 1 down. We're working on a wave 2 at the moment. I think that we're heading for another rapid move to the downside, I think. So your friends who are in the market at the moment, as long as not leveraged, I still think this is just a precursor to reversing later on to new all-time highs, but not yet. I think we've still got quite a bit lower to go. So we've had an A wave down, B wave up on a bigger scale, and I think we're heading down. Remember I said this B wave was made up of 7 waves. That confirmed to me that it was a B wave. There was overlapping movement, so all these waves overlapping. So for example, this movement down overlapped the first movement up, this movement down overlapped the movement up, etc. So all of these overlaps confirmed to me that it's corrective in nature, but also the fact it's 7 waves is actually a corrective number. So 3 waves are corrective, 7 waves are corrective, 5 waves are impulsive, 9 waves are impulsive. So you get to know these after being years in trading. So I knew that was a corrective move to the upside. So I knew with that wave, a number of waves, it's not an Elliott wave count, but it's a number of waves that you're counting there. 7 waves is corrective. And also we had hidden bearish divergence right on this point here, and that started the reversal to the downside. So we got that reversal. As I say, perfect Elliott wave there with 5 waves, the third wave being biggest extended wave. Then we've got the perfect ABC high. So now I do think that we're going to be headed to the downside. So if the dollar's anything to go by, any indication at all, things are reversing. Now, what was really interesting, you mentioned dollar yen. So let's just flip over dollar yen. I've always said that dollar yen is a great proxy for risk. So when dollar yen is heading down, that's yen strengthening. That is actually money coming out of risk assets and repaying back into the yen. So the yen is used as a funding currency. It's still got very low interest rates compared with other economies around the world. So very, very low interest rates means it's the best place to borrow money from if you're going to invest into high yield, potentially high yield risk assets. You could even borrow from the yen, invest in US treasuries, for example. But when things reverse, money comes out of these risk assets, even US treasuries, which isn't a risk asset, but out of US dollar there. and into the yen. So that's why you see the yen strengthening dramatically and the dollar weakening. So all these things add up to the perfect equation, really, of how things work, how it's all interlinked, and why we have correlations in the market. So just moving down the line, Ethereum's dipped now back to below 1800. It's now 1798. And yesterday it peaked at 1959, I think it was. So again, massive drawdown there on Ethereum. But again, it was exactly as we expected. Again, we saw, we saw a corrective move. Well, we saw basically hidden bearish divergence again, telling us downside was coming. We got a very brief push to the upside, but the hidden bearish divergence was accurate and told us downside's coming. That's exactly what's happened. And again, I think there's quite a bit lower to go. So we did expect X or A. Maybe the A wave finished earlier here, and the B wave. You're never absolutely certain about the level of the waves. They're still within the rules, etc. So the fact that we may have finished the A wave early, moved up in a B wave here, and we may already moving down in the C wave. So we've had. Remember, we looked the other day. We've got a large number of consolidations within Ethereum, within the Ethereum price action over the past many months. So every time we get consolidation pushing gradually higher, but not impulsively, just gradually, correctively higher. Every time we've got a circle here, we've got that corrective consolidation phase. And we had that consolidation here. And right from the X wave, I was telling you that we are going to get some more downside because this was very clearly consolidation. So right from when the price was 2,100, we were calling for downside on Ethereum. Precisely what's happened. We're now 1,800, so we're that's a big percentage down from the X wave. So we've now probably completed an A wave. We've got a B wave higher, which I think is also completed. We've still got another wave down, at least, to complete this Z wave. So I think there's some trouble to come in these markets. But as I say, there's still light at the end of the tunnel, because I think this is still all corrective movement to the downside overall. And I think we will see a massive pump to the upside. And that goes also for Solana, which has been hit quite hard, hasn't it? You mentioned Solana.
Yeah, I mean, it goes high and low. You know what I mean? I mean, when it moves, it moves.
Yeah, right from a year ago on these shows, I've been saying Solana is really exciting. It tends to move down more than Ethereum, but also, sorry, not Ethereum, Bitcoin, but actually Ethereum as well, I guess. But it moves down more and it moves up more. So as long as you're catching it in the right direction, you can make more money out of Solana than you can out of other assets at the moment. But obviously you have to be catching it right. But as you said, we've been calling right from this X wave where it was $150 per Solana. We've been calling for downside towards $100 level. So we're getting close to it now, 116. We're getting very close to that $100 level. And I do suspect there's more downside. If I'm correct with Bitcoin and Ethereum, actually, we're going to break $100. I was saying $100. Right. Yeah, I was saying $100 a good floor for Solana, but actually it looked like we're going to probably break it if those other two are correct. So I will be looking to dollar cost average and buy the dips at some point. And probably I will look to maybe buy some around that $100 level, but I actually do expect it to drop lower. So I'm not going to go all in or anything silly like that, but maybe just dollar cost averaging, because you never know. Things can turn around very quickly. You just don't know. So it's hard to put all your eggs in one basket. It's a mistake to put all your eggs in one basket and commit all at one time. So I would be looking maybe to add at $100. But then if it drops lower, I'll add some more, because I still think, I'm convinced, and I've said it over and over again, this is just a corrective move to downside. It's a large wave 4, but in context, if I just scroll out so we can really see, we normally expect things to move into territory of the previous wave 4 of lesser degree. And that was, the previous wave 4 dipped to 111. So we're still not even at that dip of that previous wave 4 of lesser degree. So there's still a bit of room for downside. And we can even go beyond that, because wave 1 was way, way lower. Wave 1 was right back at $26. So there's lots of room for potential downside on Solana. And then I think we will get this fifth wave to the upside, which should take us to new all-time highs. It's going to surprise everybody. What's really interesting, we were talking about US dollar and expectations. I looked at the CME FedWatch tool. I watched that closely for expectations on interest rate changes in the next meeting and meetings going forward. Now, yesterday, this was 85.7% chance we're going to stay on hold at the next meeting. That just dipped more than 10% overnight. So the expectations are now swung strongly in favor, much more in favor than it was, I should say, of a cut in interest rates, a 0.25% cut at the next meeting. So they're moving rapidly.
And when is the next meeting?
Next meeting is May the 7th. So we're still about a month away from that meeting. But
everything will start adjusting. You know what I mean? You know, I'm just for the audience. People, once they decide, once the consensus is they're going to raise or keep or lower rates, the markets will start to, adjust.
Yeah. So we can see, although it's still in favor potentially of a hold in May, the next meeting after that, June, so 18th of June, it's actually got the consensus more than 50%, in fact, 57% chance that there's going to be a cut in rates, 0.25% cut in rates. So we are going to resume cutting. That means the economy probably is going to be under pressure. And as you say, we've got those all-important jobs figures out on Friday. That's going to be a big pointer towards where the economy is going. It looks as though things are slowing down. And remember that SARM rule I've told you about? This is basically a recession indicator. That one is basically predicting that recession is coming in 2025. And so and it's been the most accurate indicator, by the way, for decades, absolutely, maybe the past 70 years or so. It's been the most accurate indicator of recessions coming. So that's saying recession is coming. The interest rates are telling us, interest rate expectations are telling us that they're going to be dropping rates again. So they're going to commence again lowering rates. Printing money, Bruce says they've already started printing money, so they're already getting worried. Let's just see what happens with inflation, because that's going to be the one thing that potentially stops them lowering rates if inflation stays sticky. So we need to watch the inflation figures very, very carefully. I'm just trying to see if there's any particular indication. I mean, we've seen oil prices drop a little bit, but I think it's pretty insignificant at the moment. If oil price does rise, is a good possibility, because we bounced off this support here. If the oil price were to rise, but obviously we had a big drop in oil price, and that was, I think, you said the possible reason for this sell-off was maybe turmoil in the Middle East. I think this tells us that the real reason was the tariffs, because if it's Middle East turmoil, oil prices will be spiking. They're not. Oil prices are falling. That's telling you that the economy is slowing down, and that basically there's going to be less demand for oil, and so oil prices are falling. So when you put these things together, it kind of tells you what's behind the market moves. And I think at the moment it is just concern over these tariffs, which they're very painful. They obviously push prices up. It means there's less consumption. It means there's less consumption of oil, which is why oil's falling. It's bad for risk assets because there's less money available because prices are higher, etc. Even as we watch, Ethereum, we saw it a moment ago, was 1,800. It's now 1793.
Listen, I have people, they're like messaging me. They're like, Bruce, I'm going to have to pay taxes and tariffs. And that seems to be, you have the group out here who's just like, cheering on no matter what happens here in Washington because Trump's in. But then you have, people with families and stuff. I mean, this could hit really hard.
Yes, it is. It is painful for people because, Trump said there was going to be some short-term pain. Let's hope it really is short-term, because
you never want a politician to tell you that. That's like the last thing you want to hear.
True.
We're going to have some short-term pain.
But if it's the truth, it's okay. It'd be a change for a politician to tell us the truth, wouldn't it? So who knows? With gold, we've been talking about potential topping out in gold, because when I say topping out, not long-term top out, I still think we've definitely got higher to go on other fractals, but in this move higher here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is a completed cycle. I labeled the top around this, and we've actually just gone slightly above, but I still think we're somewhere near the end of a 5-wave move higher. So remember, this is 5 waves in blue here. Now we've got, even this final 5th wave is broken into 5 itself. So we've got a wave 1, wave 2, which is made up of A, B, C, by the way, and wave 3, wave 4. And then even this 5th wave itself is made up of 5 waves. So you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see we're getting 5th of a 5th of a 5th wave. And if we actually went back onto larger cycles, we've got 5th of 5th of 5th of 5th. It's crazy, but this just shows how at every different time frame, you're looking at a different cycle, like Russian dolls. But eventually you'll get an end to the impulsive move to the upside, and you'll get a good 4th wave pullback. And I think we're overdue that now with gold. So I wouldn't be selling, because I still think there's higher to go with gold. I think it really is a good safe haven, a good place to be if there is turmoil in the markets. Even gold will be hit, but probably less so than other assets. So it's still a great place to be. So I wouldn't be selling, but I would use any decent dips as buying opportunities with gold. Same as I'm saying with even with the risk assets like the crypto, Solana, etc. If we see it dip to 100, I'll start dollar cost averaging. It might go lower, who knows? But as long as you're not overly committed, you can keep buying. XRP has held up reasonably well, hasn't it?
It has.
It has held up pretty well. We've got
a lot of money behind that token.
Yeah, we've got some support, but obviously if it breaks these support levels, which have been spiked into 3 times previously, if it breaks that, then we could get some more painful downside. I don't see any particular divergences in place. I'm just looking now. I can't really see any divergences in place at the moment. So it's just really where the market goes. And if the market's negative, even XRP won't be able to hold up, I don't think. Looking down, I'm just trying to see any. I mean, it's actually quite interesting. I mentioned Jasmine. There's a lot of negativity there. We dipped below this long-term support, which was negative. That was based on the risk of delisting from Binance, but also we're getting the market jitters now pushing it down. So it's really pushing down quite badly, and it's pushed now below 1 cent. That is quite a line in the sand for Jasmine. So I think it could be headed quite a bit lower. Once it broke that support, by the way, you see, the trade for me was, whilst it was above support, it was a buy with a stop loss just below. Now, the fact we broke below, I've hit my stop loss. There's no way I'm going to be jumping into Jasmine. Once we've broken below what was support, it now becomes overhead resistance. And we can actually see it dip below. It retested overhead resistance and it went down again. That is extremely typical of the way these assets work. Whenever they have a long-term support like this, which was tested, as we can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it was the 6th time it went through. But once it went through, that support then becomes resistance. It normally typically tests and retests that overhead resistance and then goes lower, precisely what's happening. So looking pretty negative on that and most other assets. I don't know what's pushing One Harmony up today. I really don't know what's pushing One Harmony up. It's up 9%, 9.6% today, which is phenomenal for what I've classed as basically a zombie asset. Every one of the candles that I saw over a long period of time, I put it on a 4-hourly. You can see all these candles are the same size. So even this one, by the way, I've got my doubts. Because if you look, every one of these candles virtually, not 100%, but almost every one of the candles is the same size. That tells me this is not organic price action. This is basically automated price action. It's very typical of market making. So when you have a market maker, they basically have a fund that they buy and sell the token to support the price, and not so much to support the price, but more to show activity and volume, to show people it's a live token and there's volume there so people will trade it. But as I say, all these candles being the same size, that tells me there's no organic activity. So there's no real genuine liquidity. It's fake liquidity, I suspect. Obviously, it can't be 100% sure, and I don't like to say it on air, but it looks to me like this is fake volume. So even the move up, 10% move up, is actually just in the same magnitude of every one of these other candles. So I actually expect One Harmony to get a sharp sell-off in coming hours, probably. Maybe next 4 hours or so, I think we'll see a sharp sell-off in One Harmony. So it looks pretty negative for the markets at the time being. As I say, I'm not selling anything, but I'm not buying either. I'm basically keeping powder dry, waiting for better opportunities ahead. And I think that's probably the best thing. I don't think did we touch on SPX?
We did not.
We did not. Okay, SPX again, going in line with expectations. We said yesterday there's an A wave down from the all-time high. We've had a very choppy B wave higher. And then we measured, saying that we're going to get a C wave to the downside. It's going to be in 5 waves. That would be a typical C wave. The minimum expectation for me would be 5,100. We're still 5,478 on the SPX. So still expecting substantial downside. We've had a wave 1 up. We've had a very clear ABC wave 2 higher. It didn't go into territory of this wave 1 down. So again, it's perfectly valid, absolutely perfect. And we would expect there to be an aggressive wave 3. We even gapped down here. There's a gap. So I'm expecting more aggressive downside probably to come with SPX to minimum this level. And I actually suspect we're probably going to get an extension. Most common relationship is parity between wave C and wave A. Parity, as I say, takes us to 5,100 and something, 5,180 or whatever. I think we're probably going to extend on wave C and see even more downside. So at the moment, the markets are not looking pretty, but that doesn't mean it's all over. Remember, when there's blood on the streets, it's time to buy. Not sure who said that. I don't think it was Buffett, but some famous guy said that.
I think it was Matt Dixon.
That'll do. I'm happy with that. So when there's blood on the streets, it's time to buy. Remember that fear and greed index. Whenever there's great fear in the market, that's the time to buy, not when there's great euphoria or greed in the market. So I'm not there yet. The markets aren't there yet. We'll probably take a look at fear and greed tomorrow, just see where we're at and see if that gives us any indication. And tomorrow, of course, is going to be the important numbers day for the jobs. That's really, really important. It's a big, big market mover. So I'm watching out for that. I think that's it for today, Bruce. I did mention the other day, one of my favorite tokens was Toncoin. I was waiting for lower prices. So they're heading that way now. So, they're heading sharply lower, as you can see. I think there's still quite a long way to go down on Toncoin, but it's one of those assets that's in my favorites list. And if we dip down to new lows around the $2 area, I'll be looking to basically buy the dip there. So that's it for today. Look forward to tomorrow, Bruce, and let's look forward to hopefully some better figures tomorrow. Give us a respite from all this negativity.
You got it, brother. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks, Bruce. Thanks, everybody. And goodbye for now.
Cheers. Great Matt Dixon with the Market Watch report. It's ugly out there, folks. It's ugly. It doesn't look good. If you look at your 401k today, you're going to be crying. Yeah. So we'll see how it all plays out. I think that we're going to have, at least at the beginning here, we're going to have to pay the taxes and pay the tariffs. And then, of course, that should equal out. The tariffs that Trump put out were, whether you know it or not, I can actually put them up here. I posted it on my X last night. But he didn't do total reciprocal, which is just what he was talking about, right? He wanted to do reciprocal tariffs. But let me just, I'll just give me a second here to pull them up. But actually, the truth is that most of them are not reciprocal. Here we go. I have it pulled up right here. Let me share this. Some of them are, the 10% ones, this and that and the other. But of course, tariffs between, here we go. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'll make it big. Yeah, here we go. But I'll read them off for you. So China has a 67% tariff on us. And USA discounted reciprocal tariffs at 34%. So what's crazy is that we've had such a deficit for all this time, and these other countries have been able to charge us such tariffs, basically making it impossible for you and I to produce anything. You want to know why manufacturing has gone into the crapper over here. Well, there you go. I mean, how are you going to sell anything? And that's even, I remember being in my 20s and they were talking about the Clinton deal and this and that, and how, you know, the whatever they called it, I forget what it was, the trade deal that he put through, just the name of it will probably come back to me in a second. But I remember looking at it and trying to figure out how I made money on it. And yeah, the money was for the other people. Those are the ones that were making money. Now, granted, we could get some cheap stuff, but yeah, that was kind of how that is. So, but just so you know, these are not even reciprocal. Vietnam they have a 90% tariff on us. We're charging them now 46%. Now that's huge, though. That number is huge. You know, Nike shoes are going to be really expensive now. It's not as sustainable. So that's the other part of this. Is I'm sure he's expecting these countries to come back and say, okay, forget it. We're not going to charge tariffs anymore. Hopefully it happens quickly. Taiwan, the charges us 60%. The reciprocal tariffs are 32%. India, 52%. Reciprocal is 26%. So, yeah. But, you know, buying clothes for your kids, buying some different things. This is going to be, I expect this to hit, unless everyone folds, and maybe everyone will fold. We'll see. Anyway, that's it for me today as well. I'm going to go ahead and call the show. It's good to see my friend Michael Anshabah from Dubai tuning in here and there. I hope you're doing well, man. Looks at your project. Looks great. We're super excited about everything. We're excited about Bitcoin 2025 in Vegas. We're excited about the Bitcoin Palooza event as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be on May 27th. Remember, if you do want to get tickets for the event, Bitcoin 2025, you can get a 10% discount. Bitcoin 2025 discount code impact money. Use impact money to get your tickets, get a 10% discount there. And we look forward to seeing you guys in Las Vegas. Sin City. It's going to be a lot of fun. Super excited about it, actually. All right. If you haven't signed up yet for 2Bit Exchange, make sure you do that today. This is your best source.
Hey, Randy, I got another home run for us, man. This 2Bit Exchange is absolutely amazing.
Hey, Bruce, what's up, man? Yeah, why don't you tell me about that 2Bit Exchange?
Yeah, that's right. And we're going to be able to list our coins that we want that we support, and they're going to be on this amazing derivatives platform. It's absolutely awesome.
Derivatives? I love derivatives. I can't wait to be on the trade copy program.
So what I want you to do is set up an account and then send me your UID, and let's set you up with a trade copy system, and you just let it run. Copy our trades. That's it. Easy peasy.
So you want me to open an account, send you my user ID, and you hook me up with the trade copy system. I can't wait. Sounds spectacular.
Hey, Matt. Hey, listen, I met with the guys at 2Bit Exchange while I was in Dubai, and this platform really looks amazing.
Yeah, hi Bruce. Yeah, thank you again for that heads up. I mean, I've looked into this 2Bit platform. It does appear to have everything we're looking for.
Yeah, that's right. 2Bit, T-O-O-B-I-T. They have great liquidity. They have futures platform. There's a lot of functionality that I think you're going to like on there. And they really want to work with us. They want to work with the Impact Money Show. And as you and I both know, if they have a good product and they want to work with us, well, hey, that's half the battle.
I mean, basically, I love that copy trade facility. I love the features on the platform. It's basically very simple to use.
Our viewers only need to set it up to copy our trades, and they just do all the trades that we do. Makes it really easy for people to participate. I think they're going to love it. I'm pretty excited about it.
And yeah, it's definitely going to benefit people. I mean, obviously with all the years of experience that we can pack into it, and people can basically benefit from that. Yeah, I definitely think it's a goer.
Hey, David. Yeah, man, I'm excited about it too. I mean, when you think of the ways that we can help our viewers earn money and be able to participate in the monetary revolution, this 2Bit platform just opens up all kinds of doors that they don't have right now.
Hey, Bruce, I'm checking out this platform. It's revolutionary.
That's absolutely correct. And the futures platform is amazing. Great liquidity. And the copy trader program, people are going to be able to make the trades exactly when we make them and make the money that we make. It's a win-win for everybody.
Open for U.S. customers, and you can deposit money with a credit or debit card. Doesn't get better than this.
Beautiful. And what do you think we should use as a referral code?
I think we should use Impact Money. That's the one. Impact Money.